If I started crypto, again, brand new, fresh today, this is exactly what I would do. And matter of fact, if I was in your shoes right now, either someone that's kind of new to crypto or someone who's a pretty decent expert who's been around for a few cycles, I would actually personally follow this video as if it were the gospel. And the reason why should become very apparent to you throughout this video. It's going to detail a lot, and honestly, again, based on my experience, my 10,000 plus hours in this damn chair researching this crypto space, I can safely say this is a secure way in order for you to have everything prepared, ducks in a row, ready for the bull run. Now, before we get started, guys, don't forget, if any way during this video you think to yourself, this is actually some pretty good content, thanks for making it, drop a like down there. It really does help support all I do over here. And of course, while you're down there, you want to secure all the possible gains you possibly can this crypto bull run, so hit that subscribe button as well. But before we kick things off, guys, I want to say, throughout this video, there's going to be many things spread across, tools I've created to allow you to save hundreds of hours as well in the crypto space. And that's going to be available for everyone in the private community from level 1 and above. And we're also doing a giveaway right now in the private community. There is a few small rules you have to follow. We're giving away 1 Tantrum and 1 Ledger wallet as well. So for 2 lucky people, they'll get a free Ledger and or Tantrum. We'll talk more about some of these tools in a second, and you'll see how valuable they are. I don't make these tools for no reason. Okay, I make them because someone asks me for it, and then we construct those based on what everyone can use to benefit, right? But before I start, guys, I want to say, if you're asking how I got into crypto, well, I actually got into crypto way back in 2020. And over the course of the last, 4 years now, it's pretty much been a learning curve, right? Massive learning curve. I first got into the space, didn't really know too much about anything techie, even really finance. I had 4 years previous experience in a bank, but when it comes to crypto and finance, the word finance itself can be a little bit misconstrued. There's so much happening in this space, tokenomics, all this bleeding edge new technology. I understand you sitting in the position you're in right now. It's hard to find good coins. It's hard to know who's telling the truth as an influencers and who's not, right? It can be very confusing. So I want to preface this video by saying I understand. Please just listen to the points I'm going to make. I'm not going to give you coins to buy. Everyone's got top 10 coins. I even do it myself on the channel. But what I'm doing here is giving you an A to Z guide on what you need to do to secure everything but buying the actual coins themselves or picking the coins, okay? So we're also going to start here by assuming that, first of all, you know a little bit about crypto itself in terms of, you know what custodial exchanges are, like centralized exchanges, you know what these are. You also know what non-custodial exchanges or wallets are themselves, like Hashpack, Kepler, and MetaMask, right? Basically where no one owns your crypto. You're the only one who owns your crypto. So if something goes wrong, boo-hoo, you can't cry to anyone. And number 3 here, you know how to transfer, right? From a non-custodial to a custodial, then to MetaMask or a Coinbase, for example, then to Kepler, using different wallets for different functions. I'm going to have to assume that because if I were to cover this in today's video, this video would swell for an extra 15, 20 minutes. And I'm going to assume it might be a bit of a long video as is. So please ensure if you haven't learned those 3 things, learn them. There's 1,000 videos on the internet covering them. So really the first thing I want you to understand here, and this is something that people overlook all the time. They seem to ignore me when I bring this up. That's goal setting, guys. Have to set goals. It's like anything. If right now I'm going through a transformation of eating healthy, going back into the gym and changing my whole lifestyle, for me, I have to set clear goals along the stages. Otherwise, I'll get lost in the middle ground somewhere and end up, lapsing into a bunch of chocolate, right? So what we want to do here is set very specific goals, right? Follow a sort of smart goal setting plan. Be specific, be measurable, be achievable, realistic, and timely. You don't have to follow these things, but what we're trying to do here is put an exact number on how much money you want to make out of this cycle. This is why one of these tools I was talking about momentarily before is the portfolio exit tracker. This in of itself, I'm not kidding, will save you hundreds of hours if you fill this out. You put your goals in here. That's the very first thing we do. Your cost basis, your required multiples, everything else, and what you need to buy and sell in crypto all stems from that. Because if you can achieve your goals, again, that's all we're trying to do here, you prevent one very important thing, and that is greed. All right. If you let greed kick in, you might have a goal of $1 million. That might be your actual goal. But if you don't set that goal, like That $1 million might be to buy a new house and buy a new car by the end of the bull run. Okay, that's a very clear goal, right? So you might hit that goal, and if it's like, well, you know, not really set in stone, let's just get a bit more money. Well, maybe the market in your portfolio keeps going up. Maybe you hit 1.25 mil. Oh, there's a brand new car. Or there's more cash for the next cycle. And the market just keeps going, and you're laughing. You're thinking to your husband or wife, hey guys, we're in it. This is it. You know, we can retire after this. And you're really happy. And guess what happens? Boom. We hit a point right before your third or maybe last goal. And then boom, it just comes crumbling down. And these markets here are unforgiving. They're illiquid markets. You can't sell because there's no buyers, right? So you want to be out at your goal. People seem to ignore this. And what ends up happening is, again, that situation plays out and they end up holding their tokens for the next cycle. Everything stems from this. So to clarify, set very realistic goals, but make sure you make them a tangible thing. For me, I want to put, let's say $4 million down on 20 different properties, right? That's $4 million. I also want to reinvest $250K cash in the next bear market and have $250K cash to survive the next bear market, to living expenses, right? So this is the things you have to do. Figure out, if you want to buy a new headset, how much is this headset? $400. Sweet. I need to get $400. If you want some more cash, throw that cash in, okay? But make sure you put a measurable amount on your goal. Now, the next part here is your risk and reward, but for your portfolio. We'll look at another risk and reward section just here in a second when buying and selling your coins individually. But this is super important. This is another sort of part of my private community that I've got access for people, right? It's this here. It's the risk and reward tolerance cheat sheet, a part of my bull run cheat sheet. We've got price predictions and a whole lot in here, okay? Basically allows you to assess, if you're looking for a certain multiple, how much risk that'll bring on the table for you. Now, you might look for a coin like Celestia. Celestia might 10 to 15x on the max, okay? Now, if you look for a 10 to 15x, that's okay. That's still adding some risk, but okay, it's not that much. If you are looking for a 40x with Celestia, okay, it's going to be 80%. And this goes for any coin. Even if it's a micro cap with a $1 million market cap, okay, if you're looking for a 50x, well, it could 1,000x. It could do that, all right? Some of these will. Ultimately, you've still got 100% risk. It's just risky. The more multiples you add, the riskier it becomes. The way we read this chart is always finding that sort of middle ground square here and always going up. So we look for the multiples down and then we come across for the risk. Now, by using this and identifying this, again, this is just for your portfolio and just for the multiples right now, you can begin to diversify your portfolio based on your risk in terms of multiples, right? So you might go, well, I'm happy to have 50% of my portfolio in a 30% risk category and the other 50%, for example, in 40% to 100%. So then you can go, okay, well, then we got lower risk, lower reward coins here, over here, and we have more high risk coins for the other 50%. So this allows you to then actually decide which coins you want to buy by doing this, right? So 50-50, we've broken up the sort of more risky coins, again, the yellow and red coins, if you will, and the less risky dark green and lighter green. Now, again, truth be told, depends on how many multiples you want. Even on some of these big coins, you can add more risk to the table, but in most cases, you're not looking for more than a 10, 15x on some of these big coins anyway. At least I'd like to hope. So like I kind of show here, the big coins themselves are more guaranteed. Nothing is ever guaranteed in crypto, mind you, but you kind of use them for offsetting risk and then use a smaller market cap to offset the gains you miss by picking these coins. You do want to be pretty even split. I think most people like to choose yellow coins here, which are a bit of a mixture. Okay, you can teeter around that middle ground. I think a normal portfolio typically has about 60%, 50 to 60% in the yellow tier itself and some sort of, variation of the other colors, basically, depending on what you want. Okay, so a nice even split here is kind of exemplifying what we're looking at. Now, most influencers will tell you to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and have Bitcoin and Ethereum for half your portfolio. What they don't realize is you got to go pretty risky over here to make up for that, okay, to get the higher multiples to achieve your goals. Now, if your goals are 2x, fine, buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's okay. But if your goals is a 20x and half your portfolio is Bitcoin and Ethereum, you're not going to get there. They're going to weigh it down. You're going to have to look for 1,000x gains on some of these small caps to make up for it. So, guys, remember, for your portfolio, you've got the risk in terms of the market cap levels, okay, depending on how high you go, and you also have the risk in terms of how many multiples you're chasing. Next is risk and reward, but for entries and exits, another massive part people seem to ignore. There's one more really massive part I want to share with you as well at the end of this video. This goal setting and the one I'll share with you at the end are like by far what people miss out on. Hence, we come to the statistic I shared in yesterday's video, where literally like 98% or 95% of people won't actually make any money at all. 5% or so of people will make, or 4% will make actually about £500 or less. And then about 1% makes any decent sum of money in crypto. The statistics are incredible to look at, but this is part of the reason why that statistic is so insane, okay? So this is what I was saying before, right? When we come to these certain zones on these coins, it comes to a very illiquid market, like with HBAR over here, okay? We've got these different zones. This is the green zone, this is the gray zone, and this is the red zone up here, okay? And the way I've identified them is the top one over here is dark red, is the price prediction. That's the max. You hear influencers say, oh, this is my price prediction. Well, guys, that's the prediction in which the coin is likely to wick and wick down from, okay? So that shouldn't be what you ever look for, a price prediction. That's a gauge as to the wick, if you will, like that max prediction. The max ladder sell level is approximately 25% down. This identifies a level in which you can at last ladder sell out of, which means when you ladder sell, when you sell a coin, right, you don't just sell everything all at one spot. You sell a bit lower and a little bit higher to make the average this level. And I'll give you guys a great tool at the end of this video to allow you to do this. But basically, this is the last level in which you can probably sell some levels above realistically. Now, the gray zone here is 10% down from this red zone, okay? And this just gives us a sort of buffer room in terms of what I think is feasible to get out of a coin. So for HBAR, in this case, the price prediction might be $2. The ladder sell level is, again, 25% down at $1.50. And the gray zone is actually at about $1.37 or $1.35, basically, right? So that pretty much means the rest, this green zone, is actually where you can sell. Now, if you're asking me, I'm selling HBAR at about 55 cents. That's right. I'm front running everyone else trying to get out of HBAR at $2 or $3, whatever it goes to. I'm not risking that game. The reason why I've been able to do this, fortunately, is because dollar cost averaging into HBAR and other projects, I'm able to move the top side down because I've got a very clear goal in mind. Every time I buy and DCA, I'm actually increasing the money I've put in, which means that the multiples required between these 2 points get less and less. Tomorrow, if I threw in $5 million, well, hey, I can get out of the market, okay? So when you DCA and you bring your average up and up and up and up and up, you're putting more money in, there's no point in you also increasing your max position, basically, right? Your sell levels. Try to bring them down if you possibly can to mean that you don't need as many multiples to make, all right? I can show you a perfect example of this very, very soon. So again, step one is find that price prediction level, move down 25%, find that max ladder sell level. If you need to, you can sell there. I would not recommend it, of course, if you can help it. 10% down is the gray buffer zone, basically, and the rest is all green to buy. So when you buy, guys, please, 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 always ensure you will actually reach your ROI goal in the green zone. If not, what you're going to have to do is wait for a lower price or find another coin that will. So again, for HBAR over here, right? If you're like, well, Kyron, I want to buy in HBAR at today's price, right? But I actually need a 20x, right, up here. Well, that's at the price prediction level, so you don't want to do that. So either you pull this down and wait for a level in which you can sell in the green zone, so you have to wait for basically 6 cents, or you basically have to find a new coin, all right? Find a coin that's green zone is essentially way, way up here, so you have more than enough room to sell out of before the gray and the red zone. That's typically the rule of thumb. Now, if you want price predictions, again, part of the actual sheet I just showed you momentarily, right, this bull run cheat sheet, I've got this, right, the price prediction forecast built on data. Now, I'm not showing the price predictions here, but this is a small snapshot of all of the different coins and some of the math that's been worked out here to find price predictions. We also actually forecast a change in their dominance based on the performance so far. So we actually change the outcome of the price prediction based on data depending on how they're performing so far. I mean, this is very, very good. I've also got my own opinions in this sheet as well. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to sell you on this. I'm just saying, guys, the hard part here is finding that price prediction. You can work the rest out yourself. But if you're kind of using a whole bunch of influencers, right, and get what's everyone's opinion, I would definitely make sure you're in the green zone because you don't want to be hoping for the best on ultimately most influencers, guys. I'm one myself. You can obviously, I definitely am, but you don't want to rely on a whole bunch of influencers because most people in this space are just winging it. You don't want to be hanging your whole financial future, at least the future for this cycle, on a bunch of people who are just winging it. It's not worth it. Don't even listen to me, right? Do this yourself and find some data predictions. Next, let's talk diversification. You have to spread your portfolio across a few coins at least. 2 little coins, what happens? Well, if 2 out of the 3 coins fail, you're screwed. Now, you don't want to have too many coins because it becomes unmanageable, especially for us busy people. So you kind of want to have, in my opinion, no more than 15 coins, no less than 3 coins. But in saying that as well, the rough rule of thumb I like to follow is 10 minutes per project per day of research. If you can't fit 10 minutes of research per project per day, you've got too many coins, okay? So if you have 10 coins, it's 100 minutes. It's basically almost 2 hours of research. I'm sorry, but if you can't fit it in, then lower the amount of coins, because one coin will pump and it will dump, and you're worried about these coins, or you're not focused, you're not researching, you're not on Twitter and having a look. But you also want to be diverse amongst the narratives as well. Now, a narrative itself is the general topic that will pop off at a given time in crypto. This is how the market moves. The market doesn't move all up with Bitcoin all at once and then all come back down when Bitcoin comes down. That's not what happens. People seem to think that. It is completely wrong. They follow trends or narratives. Now, this is a sort of glimpse as to all the different narratives and their all-time highs. You can see their peaks happening over here, these different colors. These are all different narratives, guys. All different narratives, right? So they all peak at different times, separate to Bitcoin. We might have DeFi again pop off before Bitcoin has an all-time high, and then gaming again might pop off after Bitcoin's all-time high. So what you want to do to kind of secure yourself is find the top ranking narratives. In my opinion, the 10s, the 9s, and the 8s are the top ones here. And you want to pretty much have an altcoin in all of these. Now, you can have pretty much all of these hit. People seem to think, Kyron, you can't hit, 10 narratives in 5 coins. Oh, you can, because one altcoin isn't just known for one narrative. An altcoin like Celestia is known for data availability. It's known as basically a layer 1 blockchain, and it's also known as modularity. Plenty of others. I think Manta Network has like 7 different narratives. Not narratives in the sense of, it's kind of known for that. These are narratives like what everyone associates for the project. You wouldn't say HBAR is a DeFi project because it has DeFi on it. You say HBAR is a layer 1, okay? So this is what you have to identify first, and you want to be separated amongst all these, because as DePIN and AI pump up, your DePIN and AI coins will all grow up together, and that's very obvious, and you'll be able to benefit from that. Whereas if you've got coins out here in NFTs, IoT, supply chain, these less performing narratives, what's going to happen is they might go up, but not as to the same effect of these coins, the AI, the DePIN, the 10s, 9s, and 8s, basically. So choose them wisely. As they say, the tide raises the height on all ships, right? So that's kind of the same philosophy here. Now, when is it acceptable to also liquidate a position? Maybe you've bought some coins already, okay? Maybe you're someone who's dabbled a bit and you kind of shouldn't have, right? Well, in my opinion, it depends on your situation. This is actually an extract from one of my courses. Of course, all links down below. But I think it's acceptable to accept a 5 to 20% loss. Again, dependent. If that 20% loss is a lot of money to you, it's not worth it. One thing you can remember, I can't speak for everyone here, but a loss in crypto also is like a normal loss on an investment, for example, right? You can actually tax harvest that, which means that can come off the top total, but you don't want to be tax harvesting if you can help it, because if you lose $2,000 at 20%, for example, and you had that, the money you would have made with that $2,000 would have actually been a lot better than taking that off your tax at the end of the year. Now, 30%, 40% generally is never a good idea, or anything more than 40%, unless it's a scam, for example. Now, there are arguments to be made at 30% even, but again, just remember, guys, it depends on you. This is a rule of thumb. Always, what I try to do is park the money I'm selling out of a coin. So if I'm removing my position from a coin, I need to park that cash into a somewhat valuable position already, or be hedged into the market or whatever falling lower, so I can put that money into a good coin to achieve my multiples, okay? Don't sell for the sake of selling, because you might actually end up panicking when the market goes up and putting those coins into another shit coin, and then you end up chasing your tail. Now, here's the exit tracker I was mentioning to you before. This is what you have to do, guys. Set your damn sell levels up, okay? So this is my actual exit sheet. This is literally a carbon copy of this sheet. This is the default one. You guys can go ahead and use yourselves. And I've just filled all of it in, okay? What I tend to do when I DCA into crypto at all, no matter what coin I'm putting it in, whether it's coin 1 or coin 15 or coin 8, what I tend to do is always, again, have that goal in mind. You'll be able to see the goal up here, and always just make sure I'm bringing my average sell prices down to achieve my goal. Your goal will always show up down here on this sheet when you fill it in, and that's the intention. To DCA into your coins, add the change or the increase in the coins gained, and then bring down the average sell prices to ensure you're not just making more money. That's fine. We can make more money in the next cycle when we get everything down pat. But right now, we're just looking to make secured gains, and then you will come down here on each coin and pick out your sell levels. You can see here I've got a nice chart that shows you the sell levels. That's what you want to do. From this point in time, the reason I created this and the beauty of it is this will allow you to see what sell levels you need. You throw spaghetti at the wall, guys. You just try it out. You put some numbers in, put some percentages, as long as it equals 100%, and Bob's your uncle. You can literally just plug all of this into an exchange like Bitunix, for example, or whatever exchange you're using, and then have it automatically sell. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to hold your crypto on a centralized exchange if you can help it, especially a small one. What you want to do instead, in my opinion, is come back to the sheet over here, and you'll see an initial investment level. Hold your coins in a non-custodial wallet, but take the initial investment level, right? A level in which you're looking to take out your initial investment to claw back that money you've put in to be as safe as possible, right? Plug this into the centralized exchange and store all of the rest of the coins somewhere else. This way, if the exchange fails, okay, you might have lost 10% of your portfolio. It's a part of the game. Unfortunately, it's better than all of it. Secondary, what happens if a coin pumps up tomorrow and you're asleep and you wake up? Oh my God, okay, well, at least I've clawed back my initial investment. I better just plug the rest of my levels in now. So at least it's a safeguard in this case. The risk and reward is definitely favoring you, as in the people doing this, non-financial advice, of course. And that's what I would do. Go into Spot and on any centralized exchange and actually plug those initial investment levels in. And lastly, this is again a very important one here, is don't think two-dimensionally. Think outside the box, guys. You know how many people, again, lose money in this space? Like 99%, right? 99%. And again, 5% of those 99% make like 500 pounds or less. So very little. So really what we're looking for here, guys, is to just get out in the safest possible way. And that means sometimes sacrificing some potential gains, even though we're somewhat early. So we're here right now. I'm looking for less than a 10x actually right now. But you can look for a 10x this cycle. Just make your money. Then get out. Everyone else can fight over the breadcrumbs at the top. So be it. You might have a bit of a whinge to your friends, family, whatever. Oh, I could have made an extra 2-3x. Boo-hoo. At least you made money, guys. And then in the next bear market, you can then use some of the cash to buy back in. It's then and only then we can make big gains. Right now, if you're buying now, guys, it's too late. I'm sorry. It's if you're looking for mass multiples, you have to look for micro caps. You have to add a whole bunch more risk on, which of course you can go ahead and do. That's fine. Go ahead and add all your risk on. But for me, I'd rather it be safe. On this channel, you better be subscribed because we have a lot of indicators now to know when is a good time to buy in a bear market. Plus, also, there are some catalysts happening soon that should give us a pretty good entry level at that time, in which we'll be able to make at least a 30x in the next cycle. So use this bull run to get out of a tricky situation, to maybe level up a little bit in life, to maybe allow yourself to chase that dream, but have some money for the next bear market, because trust me, we're going to make a lot of money then. So guys, that's going to do this video. I hope you have enjoyed this fast-paced, but I think highly educational crash course on what I would do if I started crypto again today. And yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed. Take good care. Bye.